Welcome to the She Births Show, a place to inspire your birth, evolve your parenting, and help you live a life you love. I'm Nadine Richardson, your host and creator of the scientifically verified birth education program, She Births. I'm also a mother, yoga teacher, doula, author, and speaker. At She Births, we have supported thousands of families around the world for over 13 years with our unique program, and our vision is to make birth better for every family around the world so that everyone experiences a beautiful birth no matter what unfolds. Not only do we help people have beautiful births, but we also give them the skills and the philosophy to enjoy pregnancy and make parenting easier. As well as our world-class birth ed, taken either face-to-face or online in our app, we also have a free pregnancy guide designed to help you feel calm, connected, and inspired as you and your baby grow. We have a doula matching service, the perfect way to ensure you and your partner are completely supported throughout the whole journey. And we have our Soul Mama Circles, which are the perfect postpartum network to help optimize your mindset and design your life in parenthood. Remember, if you like what you hear today, subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. If you're a parent, about to be one, fellow health professional, join us now for an inspirational deep dive into topics with experts around the globe. We hope you enjoy this special episode. Today's guest, Jana B, is an author, naturopath, and plant-based chef. She has over 15 years of naturopathy experience and a bachelor degree in health science. Jana grew up in Eastern Europe and has a long relationship with herbs and their medicinal qualities, which have been an important part of her life from a young age. In our conversation, Jana shares her passion and experience about healing foods, cycles of nature, and the importance of authenticity. Her two self-published books, Intuitive Eating and Earth Cakes, are an absolute work of art and also make healthy eating easy. I have certainly loved her cake that we had for my birthday. In our chat, we discuss what intuitive eating actually is and the practical tips and strategies to become more intuitive with our food, our body, and nature. My favorite part of our chat is hearing Jana's stories as a child growing up in a communist country and how this has shaped her offering to us as a green witch. Let's all become green witches, I say. I hope you enjoy today's chat. Please remember to share, subscribe, and especially review our podcast so that we can keep delivering wisdom across the airwaves to wherever you are. Hi, Jana. Welcome to the She Births Show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure. I'm so glad I bumped into you at the farmers markets, at Mullumbimby farmers markets the other day after I've, of course, messaged you. The magic and flow of living up here, isn't it? You know, bumping into people.
Yeah, meant to be.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I discovered your amazing cakes the other day. I was at a 5-year-old's birthday party, and she's got some things that she can't eat and very restrictive diet. And your cake came out with like frosting and flowers and like chocolate, and it just was so delicious. I was like, who is this woman who makes these amazing earth cakes with her green witchcraft? I want her on the She Births Show because I reckon parents are going to love it.
Yeah, making cakes is my huge passion. I've always been interested in baking since little girl. We've baked at home with my mom, but we did like the traditional proper cakes with wheat, sugar, and all that. But I think like general healthy eating has been my interest since quite early childhood. I used to be a competitive swimmer. It was not normal swimming. It was diving. I don't want to really go into it, but we've been always taught about diet and lifestyle. And we grown up quite rurally. We grown up through communism. We had our own garden. because that time, that's how people used to live, to save money. They have their own gardens. So I think naturally through that lifestyle, I was always looking for alternative ways to eat and how to be healthy. I think through that time of competitive swimming, it might have gotten a little bit obsessive, but that's, I think, how I understand all that kind of way of eat, of being intuitive with your body and with the seasons and with the life cycles and the earth cycles. So going back to the cakes, huge passion of mine was to actually create cake which is not that bad for you.
Yeah,
which is linked.
Right. I just love it. And so, but tell us a bit about, can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up? Like, because I'm very bad at geography, and I looked up Czech Republic, where you're from, and you're right in the heart of Europe. And so you grew up during communism, and tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah, so Czech Republic is only a little country, but it's very powerful. It's exactly as you said, in the middle of Europe. It's been actually called heart of Europe. It has huge history because of the wars and so on, and we've been occupied by Russians and Germans, and that really affected the history. And I think also the ancestry of the people living there. I grown up through communism. My childhood was in communism, but actually it was quite, like, for me, I had really nice memory. We spent lots of time outside. We did lots of hikes and kayaking, and we, as I mentioned, we had already our own garden. We tried to grow our own just to save money. And I remember when Czech Republic stopped to be communist, and nice shiny apples came to the stores, and I didn't want to eat the apples from our trees because they had little brown bits on them. And I was like, Mom, I want to eat these shiny apples from the supermarket because they look good. Yeah,
they look so pretty and shiny, like a jewel. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
You can imagine that from a kid's eyes, like those pretty looking bananas and apples and everything's so pretty. Yes.
Yeah. And with everything, like with the communism, we didn't have external influences in TV. We grown up without TV at the beginning, and I had no idea what Donald Duck was or Mickey Mouse or something like that, because we had only some tales which were beautifully made, but there was always a little bit of sneaky in some of them, like a communist influence, how to teach people to just work with the government. But they were beautiful. Lots of art came from that communist era because that was the way how people could travel. But as I said, my upbringing, it was really nice. I have really good memories with not being exposed to the TV and things like that. And then I remember when the Donald Duck came to the TV and we got the TV and I was sitting there and watching it, and the Barbie dolls came. We never really had like Barbie dolls as well. So I was like looking and I was like, I wanted to have one. Yeah, all that. We always just played in the fields, and we draw our own dolls from paper and then draw clothes and put it on the dolls from the paper.
Wow.
That were our. So I think it was really beautiful in that sense.
How special. I think that. Do you think that's given you that connection, that deep? Because I feel that when I read your books, Earth Cakes and Intuitive Eating, and you call yourself a green witch, and you mention like growing up in the fields, I mean, it must have laid such a strong connection to nature and seasons when you live from the land in that way in your childhood.
Yeah. And definitely with the seasons as well. Like when you are in Europe, there is a strong sense of seasons, which I think here in Australia, you lose it a little bit because it's kind of constant summer, right? Not always, but there's a little bit of like cold season, which we're heading to, but it's nothing like in Europe. So we have really the strong 4 seasons. And I think because of that, people, not everyone, but in Europe, naturally people For example, if I lead back to the communism, so through summer, we have our own garden. In different seasons, there were different fruit and vegetable, and we cook from it. And then went into the autumn, and the trees started losing the leaves, and everything started to be like cooler. So we started to cook more warm food. And in winter, that's when you preserved all the stuff from all the fruit and vegetable from the summer, because in winter we knew there will be no fruit and vegetable, and we did lots of pickles and jams and lots of fermented foods. And I think naturally that through that folk tradition, people lived in Europe and probably here in Australia, but I think in Europe, through that roots of the history, they naturally knew how to work with the rhythms of the nature. And for example, sauerkrauts, if I pick sample, we generally add the sauerkrauts in winter because we have heavy meals to warm us up. So the sauerkrauts, for example, next to meat brings the enzymes and the freshness to help to break down the meat. But opposed to, for example, here in Australia, there was a period of time when there was everything raw, and on the top of the sauerkrauts, it was just too much fiber and just didn't work together. When true, if you look back how people used to do, it was for a reason, because they were in tune and intuitively knew what to do. And because of TV and things like that, and advertisement and people trying to sell us this and trying to sell us that, we totally got blindfolded, and we don't know what's true, what's not right, and what's meant to be for our body. Yeah.
I think that's so beautiful, like where you're taking us, because that's what I really want to talk about, because I did know you in Bondi, and anyone who's in Sydney will know Orchard Street. All of the girls at Orchard Street have done she births, and we're big fans of them and their work, and their food is so extraordinary. And that's where you worked. And you mentioned to me that you wanted to write intuitive eating because of being in contact with, it seemed like, a lot of women who were deeply disconnected from what was the right food for them, and a lot of people with eating disorders as well. Is that right?
Yes. So the intuitive eating was created when I used to have full-time clinic there in Bronte in Orchard Street. I had it for about 5 years. And there was big pattern of ladies, not only, but there was big pattern of ladies who were coming mainly around that eastern suburbs, who were so disconnected to what to eat and what not to eat, right? And I think it just came from low self-esteem, trying to high achieving, trying to be something they are not, and so on. And then trying to search for information online or for that perfection picture which they were trying to create. But there is no perfect picture, yeah?
Yeah.
So the eating was inspired actually to help people to tap into their own intuition. The gut feeling is so strong for us. So we should know, if we listen to it, what's good for us and for not. For example, if I talk about like a bit of extreme example, if you have bowl of salad and everything is healthy in it and so on, and you are eating it under stress, and you are thinking, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have put a tomato in it and so on, and you shovel it in and you don't chew on it, it's going to sit in the stomach, it's going to bloat you up, and it's going to be no good for you.
Yeah.
If you eat fish and chips on sunset with your friends, you naturally do this nice deep breaths and like, isn't that amazing afternoon? And you eat it and you enjoy the flavors and the textures, even though the food in a nutrient dense, it's not good for you. Metaphysically, is actually giving you something beautiful. And that's what we have to think about. We have to think about food which is nourishing us and making us feel better. And food meant to make us to feel like with that deep breath, meant to give us self-love, which I think the pattern of low self-esteem, low self-love, and eating disorders. Yeah, and that's why the intuitive eating came to the place. And I was like, okay, let's link it to the season. Let's link it to the natures of cycles, how animal lives, how it meant to be, to actually go to basics and don't overcomplicate. Because sometimes even just when you think naturally out of the picture, all right, this has an iron, this has this meant to be this way. It's not always like that. Of course, if you have some bigger picture, like for example, if you are low in iron, of course you have to eat food rich in iron, or you have to supplement if it's not working, but not that you will be obsessing about it.
Yeah, beautiful. It's so interesting. I do think that, like you say, I mean, it's such an interesting contrast growing up with communism and no advertising. I think we've all been so polluted through our exposure to even a notion of a diet. Like, why do we even need to call it a diet? I don't understand. Like, it just seems like such a strange word. Deprivation, is that in control? Like, it's just so odd.
Yeah. And there is like, everyone is so individual. There is no right and wrong for one person or for mass of people. That's why individual consult is sometimes good, because you kind of say, okay, look, sit down, you are this. Yeah. Then, for example, if I give example how people are brought up, just to give people idea. So everyone, when I studied homeopathy, which is a while back, then one kind of system of the homeopathy, divided people into 3 categories. And that really depends under what star they were born, moon, and so on. And then some people are similar more to the plants, some people are more similar to animals, and some people are similar to metals. Yeah. So plant people are very sensitive, and they really do well with plant-based diet, and they absorb it well, and they get the nutrients and this and that. Animal people are very high achieving, they need a career, they are good in business and so on, but they generally are not always only good on plant-based diet. Yeah, they have to have a little bit of animal products and so on, because that's their structure.
Just gonna say, that one's me.
Yeah,
I have to have a bit of meat. I just have to.
Yeah, some people, they do. That's how it is, because that's what they need to thrive. And metal people are people who are quite hard to break. They are very highly intelligent people who like structure, and they also need animal products. And they sometimes actually, bad food doesn't affect them too much, because they have such a robust structure. So even if they take lots of coffee, lots of alcohol, the body can metabolize it quite fast. So they are kind of good on everything, opposed to plant people, because they are so sensitive. If they take too much drugs or coffee or alcohol, they get straight away affected. And if they don't, or for example, if they ate too much meat and so on, they get affected. So that's like just a little quick sample how no one is the same.
Yeah, as you say, I actually know, like, my dad is definitely a metal person. I think I sit between the plant. I'm pretty sensitive to alcohol and all those sorts of things as well. So it's like, that's really interesting to see yourself in the spectrum of that.
And then that's how you also treat the clients or people, or how you tap into yourself. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe you can have always from 3 categories, a little bit from each, but one is generally a little bit of dominant, yeah. And then you're like, okay, so maybe I'm not. If you are animal person, then if you are only on plant-based diet, maybe you will not thrive as much, because that doesn't work that way in nature, on the planet as a whole, yeah.
And now for a quick break. At She Births, we believe that pregnancy, birth, and matrescence, the sacred postpartum, is an awesome rite of passage. Our free holistic pregnancy guide offers you 6 months of weekly support. Drop straight into your inbox, or within our free She Births app, you can get content that will nourish your body, mind, and soul. You can enjoy prenatal yoga videos, great recipes, birth affirmations, course discounts, and more. From me and my team, the creator of the world's only scientifically verified antenatal classes, it is our gift to you. Sign up today and receive the free holistic pregnancy guide at shebirths.com/PG. That's shebirths.com/PG. So what are some really sort of practical tips and strategies that like our listeners could adopt or experiment with in their lives to be more intuitive, like in their eating? What is it about?
Basically, follow the seasons. So, for example, in summer, we need more cooling food. So it can be either cold food, like more smoothies, but generally in smoothies, I like to add something a little bit there for digestion. It's very individual. So I'm talking quite general, yeah. In winter, more warming, cooked food, nourishing food, and so on. In summer, again, more like cucumbers and zucchinis, which will warm you up. Through winter, more root vegetable and so on. I think Ayurveda is really good, even if you want to tap more deeper into cooling and heating foods and so on. It's just, again, new topic. We can talk here for about 3 hours, and I'm not qualified Ayurvedic practitioner. I just have an interest in it. So I feel like I am not the right person to teach people about cooling and heating foods. I just, from general interest, I know a fair bit about it. And that's also waved into the intuitive eating book. So the intuitive eating book will take you through the season, through the nature cycles, through some herbs and plants, what to use through summer, spring, autumn, and winter. Quite basic. And then it gives you the recipes. Yeah. So for example, you will see some smoothies there in summer and more kind of salad type of things. And then in winter, you will see more khichdi and more soups and more cooked food. And of course, like if we want to go more in depth, then you individualize. So if someone wants to tap into the intuitive eating and knows that they have problem with digestion, so, for example, they would not have too much raw food because it's difficult for digestion, but more cooked food to kind of ease the digestion so we absorb it. So, again, like just go with the basics and tap into the gut feeling and think about, okay, I have digestive problems. Would big raw salad be sitting in my stomach for long? You're just kind of trying to see what they feel should be easy of, and then they should naturally think, oh, maybe some nice soup or stew with some ginger will be easier to digest. And that's what kind of that book Intuitive Eating teach people about.
Yeah, beautiful. I also loved circling back to that other notion of like being with friends on the sunset and eating fish and chips. That is very Ayurvedic as well, because that's in the Vedas. It says, through your attention, through your soma, that you give your food, which in a sense, your attention is presence and presence is love. Through your love, you can turn shit into gold. So you can eat poop and it can be nourishing for you, which, you know.
That's right. And like, I think everything in the universe, it's about balance. And that's what both books are trying to tell people about, right? So if we create somewhere something a little bit too much, then the other part of the other thing has to compensate, right? So, the body, mind, and spirit works together. So if you are exactly being obsessed about what you eat and you are in your top chakras, mind and spirit, your physical body, your bottom chakras are not working. They are not producing your enzymes. Yeah. If you look at this, what I've just said about physiological kind of understanding, we have two nervous systems. One is called fight and flight, and one is called rest and digest. They don't work together. So if you are stressing about your food, you are in fight and flight response, and your rest and digest nervous system is not working. You're not producing enzymes. Your peristalsis, the way how your intestines are moving, it's not working. The food is going to be sitting there for longer. And it's going to bloat you up and will be undigested. If you are in rest and digest nervous system and you are relaxed, being with your friends, having good time, chewing on your food, you will absorb all the nutrients, even if it's unhealthy food, better than if you eat super healthy food, but you are in fight and flight. Eating on the run, for example, as well. It's another example.
On the run. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I watch my son eat. And he often just like gets a sore tummy, but like he eats so fast, he doesn't pay attention to what he's eating. He loves cooking, But when he sits down to eat, he doesn't pay attention to how he's eating. I mean, I do the same thing. I think to a certain extent we all have, there's a spectrum of eating disorders. We eat our feelings when we're feeling shitty or sad and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah, but I think it's also normal to be not perfect with anything.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Sit down and I chew on my food and enjoy the colors and textures. What I sometimes teach to my clients, especially if there is a disorder of eating, sometimes you just have to connect to the food and enjoy the colors, the textures, like kind of regain that love to the food. I am mom as well, and I am working. Sometimes I run out of my door and I haven't had breakfast, and no one is perfect, so I'm not a perfect, but I try consciously to spend my time with the love, and when I cook food I make it with love. Like, food is my huge passion, so it's not that big of a problem, but I definitely try to infuse the love into the food. I try to eat with the family. We try to sit by the table if we can. We have 3 years old. It jumps around the sofa. Sometimes it's all, but we consciously try. And if it fails, it's also okay. You're gonna go and have that sunset dinner and try different way. Yeah, and nothing in the universe is linear. There is always up and downs, and until you finally get it. Yeah.
Right, that's right. And so is this part of being a green witch? What does it mean to be a green witch? Can you explain that for us?
So the green witch is in my second book, Earth Cake. And the Earth Cakes is a book which was created in pandemics. So I just felt people needed a little bit of that magic in their life. It was so great. And I was like, why don't we tap back into the folk and the tradition where I grown up, and teach people what green witch is, create the magic. So the green witch is actually lady. It's in Czech Republic or everywhere around the world. There's a lot of witches. There's green witch, there's a kitchen witch, there's magic witch, there's rock witch. But the green witch specifically is the one which protects our Mother Earth. So I try to teach people what green witch is, or like I would love to call myself green witch. I'm not always green witch, but I try to follow the steps. Grow our own garden, work with herbs, teach people plant-based diet if it's for them, or how to work with plants, protect our planet, live sustainably. Work in harmony with animals as well, be kind to each other, and teach people some spells. So, for example, and that's that magic, like there is good witches in Czech Republic and everywhere, which people would go to when there was something happening in the family, some grief and so on, and she would make potions. So generally, green witch heals with herbs, and then she would do some magic. She would have a little altar, and she would put some rocks and crystals and charge them and so on. So it's about working with nature to create your own magic, not just herbs. That's a big part of it, but also rock, plants, water, air, spirit, all that. That's what the green witch is about.
Beautiful.
The element.
Yeah. And you talk about the magic of certain foods in Earth Cakes, which I really love. And I want to refer to it, but my girlfriend's stolen it to have a look at the recipes. But yeah, so talk us a little bit through, like, the beetroot chocolate cake and like the magic of that, and like how you can create spells, I suppose, as you're making cakes, those beautiful cakes.
I think it's very individual again, but if you look at the red and beetroot is such a hard love kind of organ or like a piece of vegetable which is linked to organ which is hard. So again, tapping to your intuition, whatever the vegetable represents for you, that's your own magic, right? Mm. And then I linked it with the cakes because everyone generally loves cake. So if you catch up with your girlfriends, you make the cake, and then your girlfriend is going through the relationship issues and so on. So you make her beetroot cake because it's for love. And then you sit down and you put the pink quartz, because the pink quartz, again, the pink color is more manifesting the love. And you sit there and you hold your hands, and that's already the spell, and you manifest. Yeah. With the manifesting, some people are manifestors, some people are not manifestors. That goes through another whole picture of understanding what type of person you are. And that's, again, go back to the picture of that no one is the same. Some people kind of have to wait for their magic to come in and listen to the signals. But it's good to kind of know that there is a certain tools you can use through the earth elements when you can make cake, and you can make your own ritual to take you out from the deep to something hopefully beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. It's inspiring. Yeah, like you're saying to people, it's your opportunity in that baking to connect with yourself, with the world, the planet, your life, your community, and imbue that in your food, which you're actually doing anyway. Another thing we do in Ayurveda is be very aware of who has made the food and in what state of consciousness were they. And if you eat food from like a really busy, angry kitchen, that vibration, that frequency is going to be in the food and not feel great and going to feel toxic. The more subtle you become, the more you are. And so I love the fact that you're implying that we can do that ourselves consciously. And I think it's beautiful.
Again, going to the pandemics, people were so not in now, right? So you sit on your chair and you think about all the negatives, and the day passes and you creating bad memories. So the book was about, actually, people can, through magic, create nice memories, even in the time of sorrows. So, you can bake the cake, come to your friends, try to do some kind of spell. Spell can be even just share the cake with a cup of tea and talk, right? That's already that nice memory which has been created in that moment. And then you can infuse it with elements of nature. You can infuse it with certain herbs, to make you feel, for example, more calm. You infuse passion flower in it. In the chapter of the earth cake, there is also a flower essences, how you can make them. That's another beautiful ritual, which is so easy to make and create nice memory. You just go with your friends, go to the nature, pick up flower which resonates with you, which you really feel drawn to it. You put it in the water, sit around that, give it good intention, and then I don't want to go through all the steps how to make the essence, but eventually when you have the essence, it's specifically created for you. You created nice memories with your friends. You have the essence, which, that's something creative for you, and that will help you in the future. So the whole book about the earth cake is about people actually seeing that there is a magic involved, and there is a tales, and there are good witches, and there is not always bad, and you can just use your creativity. The book is the tool to only give you the base to awaken your own creativity, especially in times of sorrows.
I love that. It's so beautiful. And I just have to say, like, your books are so beautifully made and bound, and your work is just so incredibly unique and authentic. So hats off to you. Like, you really have done an amazing job of publishing 2 amazing books. Like, so impressed.
Yeah, it's definitely it's not easy journey, self-publishing. And also I must say, I self-published because I didn't want to compromise on the quality of the book. I wanted everything to be 100% recycled paper, and have the proper bounding, and have the touch and feel and the senses in the book, so people already connect with that emotion with the book. I wanted to be a little bit of that art style, so people just already, when they touch it, they're already saying the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. There was a whole big picture behind it. But I must say it's hard. It's hard because if you want to create a book which is environmentally friendly, it costs a lot of money. So to create cookbook, which is not costing $200, was very difficult. Yeah. So printing it locally, when you, of course, have to pay more money for the local printing, was also difficult. And I still juggle with that with the first book, because that's been released 4 years ago. And the prices through the when it was pandemics and so on, they went off the roofs of the papers, and now I can't print because I have to source new recycled paper, because I don't want to compromise. I don't want to go with normal paper. So now it's on hold, but it will be reprinted. But I just want to create kind of reasonable price for people to purchase good cookbook. Yeah, so it's a journey. Self-publishing is definitely a learning curve for the person who makes.
What you're teaching is authenticity, creativity, agency, connection, intuition, in the book. So it makes sense that you would hold that sovereignty yourself and self-publish. And yeah, I'm just embarking on that journey as well. I'm doing a hybrid version. But I understand. So we're going to put the links in the bottom so people can know where to get. I hope you do another rerun of intuitive eating, and I hope people see it. Okay.
I'm talking to the print. We did find some paper now, so it's good. I just have to, with the self-publishing, it's all about money as well. So I've just self-published the second book, so I'm a little bit short of money. So I have to kind of do the nature cycles when people purchase my book, so I get a little bit more money, so I can again recreate the energy into reprint the intuitive eating in a little bit of bigger amount, maybe half year, end of the year. So we put the cost down so they can purchase it for the same price as it was until now. I'm trying not to increase the price because it's already for cookbook a little bit higher end, but it's just because I didn't want to compromise on the quality.
That's beautiful. I think they're beautiful books. They're so, I think cookbooks are always beautiful to have, and yours is particularly special. And now for a quick break. Contrary to popular culture, She Births believes that childbirth can be the best day of your life. It is designed perfectly to be empowering, enriching, and bonding. An awesome rite of passage. Our childbirth education programs have helped thousands of families around the world since 2008, allowing families to not only feel empowered through education, but also connect with their innate birthing wisdom to create the best birth possible and begin their parenting journey with confidence. She Birth's unique methodology was scrutinised in university trials and has been published in the British Medical Journal for improving birth outcomes for both mother and child. I'd like to invite you to begin preparing for birth today. Just go to shebirths.com to discover our 2-day weekend face-to-face courses or access the online courses from anywhere around the world. That's shebirths.com. Create your beautiful birth with the world's only scientifically verified antenatal classes. What would you say your favorite recipes that you come back to, each week in your life, that provide that love and that connection to nature for you? Are there favorite ones that you have at the moment?
So from intuitive eating, it's always my favorite recipe. It's the Ayurvedic khichdi. It's not my it's not my recipe. It's just something I adapted from someone. Yeah. It's actually when I traveled to Thailand, I got introduced to it when I was traveling through India, and then I learned a recipe there where I was in India learning Ayurvedic cooking. And I just really love that recipe. It always has space in anyone's lives. If we talk about nutrition, it's the full carbohydrate, protein, and nutrients profile. It's easy to digest because it contains the spices, the herbs, which creates your digestive fire. And it's just so nourishing, and so grounding and so on.
And so easy. It's just so easy, isn't it, on the digestive system? It just feels like so calming, and easy to digest and process. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a period of time when I was doing big batches of kitchery for Orchard Street. It was maybe a period of 3 years, and I still, make the kitchery for certain. I do some caterings, plant-based caterings. I don't do it as much because I have 3-year-old, and I think the space for the catering in my life is not there at the moment. I think it will come back when my son is a bit older and it doesn't need me so much. But there is always the kitchery somewhere there on the menu. And at home, we always have it. Or when a friend of mine has a baby, straight away kitchery, yeah, like a nicely cooked with love, properly resoaked legumes, put the right spices. It's always a win-win. So that's definitely my favorite recipe in the intuitive eating. And in the Earth Cake book, I think our favorite recipe in the family at the moment is the chamomile panna cotta. Also very easy to make.
That sounds delicious.
And you can make it vegan or non-vegan. If you do it non-vegan, you use gelatin, so it's gut healing as well. It's described why is it gut healing in the book. Basically, it builds collagen in your gut lining, and you need it for any connective tissue. And you can put sweetener your choice. I like to go more than nature-inspired sweeteners like monk fruits or honey if it's not cooked. And you mix it all in, leave it set, take it out. And the boys, like my partner and my son, they just love it. So I think that's our favorite, very simple recipe, which is kind of staple in our kitchen.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I can't wait to try that. I can't wait to eat that one. I'll have to cook that one up or make that one up. And what would you say to pregnant families or people with young children out there in terms of like their eating and nourishment? What words of wisdom would you like to end with, to gift them?
Just number one is not to get obsessed. No one is perfect, because with the kids as well, they don't always eat everything what's there in the book. So just go with the flow. It's going to change, because as season, everything changes. Everything has its time. Everyone has to learn, and nothing is linear. That's why that's I think my biggest wisdom. Just kind of go with the flow, ease, and instead of obsessing about food and so on, go and spend the time with the nature, with the kids, and give them good times. Yeah. Pregnant ladies, the same. Don't be too obsessed about what time of week you are, what you're meant to be doing. New mamas, don't watch on your phone week by week what the baby is doing, but just go out, go for a walk if you can, cuddle the baby, give them feed. Just do the nice things. In that now I was talking about, try to create nice memories instead of obsessing about what you're meant to be doing. Sometimes it's just, okay, I'm meant to be doing this, but what do I feel like doing? And do what you really like doing and come back to it.
I love it. Go back and go out and create some beautiful memories. On that note, yes. I'm going to go and probably take the dogs down to the river for a swim. Create some nice memories for the day. Because you're right, it's so easy to get bogged down in the lists and the how-tos. But every day, every moment, there's an opportunity for beautiful memories. Jana, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. We're going to put all the links to your secret kitchen and your books in this podcast, and I know our families will love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and being able to share something with your community. I really love what you're doing.
Thanks, darling.
It's very, very important what you're doing too, so thank you.
I'm Nadine Richardson, and you've been listening to the She Births Show. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. We'd love to know what you would like to hear more of. You can find me and my team of amazing doulas and educators at shebirths.com and our awesome community on Instagram and Facebook. Within any good app store, you can download our free pregnancy guide via She Births, 2 separate words and plural, as well as access our range of online courses. Remember, when it comes to having a better birth, an easier transition into parenthood, Your education is your empowerment. Don't forget to check out the catalogue of previous podcasts, and thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the show.